Okay, so hello everyone. This is day 7 of Django REST framework, which is nothing but DRF. So in this video, we will discuss about deserialization. So what is deserialization? Let's try to understand it by definition. Then we will understand it by the example, and later on we will understand it by the code as well. Okay, so let me write here basic definition of deserialization so that you can understand it. Okay, the process of converting Python native data types. Okay, so when I'm talking about converting Python native data type, the process of converting Python native data type, it is nothing but we are talking about dictionary. Python native data type, a conversion is nothing but we are converting into the dictionary. Okay, so the process of converting Python native data types, which is nothing but dictionary, into what? Into database supported complex types. Okay, database supported complex data type. What is database supported complex data types? It is nothing but we can say model instance. Okay, so when we talk about model instance, so what is model instance actually? So when we are fetching one record from the database table, it is nothing but a model instance. The moment we are fetching all the records from the database, then what is it? It is the query set, which is nothing but I'm writing in short, which is QS. So database supported complex types are nothing but model instance and query set, right? Is called as deserialization, right? What we call it? Deserialization. Okay, so let me if you are not understanding it, I mean, till now with this definition, let's try to understand it with one example. Okay, so for getting more clarity, let's suppose, okay, so let's suppose we have Python complex data type here, Python complex data types, right? So this is Python complex data type. If you are converting Python complex data type into what? Into the Python native data type. Okay, so Python native data types are nothing but Python native data type. Like what? Like dictionary. Okay, and from Python native data type means from dictionary you are converting it into what? You are converting it into what? JSON. So this process is known as serialization. Okay, serialization means complex data type. Complex data types are nothing but model instance, or we can say query set. We are converting it into what? Python native data type, which is nothing but dictionary, and dictionary to JSON. So this is known as serialization. And what is deserialization? Deserialization means from JSON to Python native data types like dictionary, and dictionary to database supported complex data type, which is nothing but model instance or query set. Okay, so this, I mean, in the what we can say, in, I mean, if you are going in this direction, okay, so that is what? Serialization. If you are coming reverse, that is known as deserialization. Right, hope you're understanding with this example what's the mean of serialization and deserialization. Okay, so let's try to understand it with example as well, I mean with code as well. Okay, so as we already build the project, so in that project only we will work. So here we have serialization. Okay, serializations.py. Okay, so here what we will do, we will import one module which is nothing but IO module. Okay, so we will write here. Okay, so we will write here import IO. Okay, after importing the IO module, we need to import the JSON parser. Okay, so JSON parser is the class and which is available in the parser module, and parser module available in the REST framework. Okay, so like what is the flow? So in the REST framework, so this key is not working. Sorry for that. Let me use virtual keyword. Okay, so REST framework. Okay, so in the REST framework, we have parser module, parser, parser module, parsers, and in the parsers module, we have one class which is JSON parser. Okay, so this JSON parser class we need to use. Why we need to use this JSON parser? So that we can convert our JSON data into the stream data. Okay, then stream data we will convert into what? Into the Python data, nothing but dictionary. Okay, so how to use it? So we will write here from REST framework dot parsers import JSON parser class, right? So after importing this, okay, so what we will do, we will convert the JSON to stream data. So what we want the stream data. So we will write here stream variable. Our variable name is stream, and how we'll get the stream data. So we need to use IO. Okay, in the IO module, we have one class which is bytes IO, and this bytes IO will convert our JSON data into what? String. Okay, so where is this JSON data? So let's, okay, so in order to get this JSON data, we need to like import the employee class, and we have to do the serialization. Okay, so what we have to do, like instead of writing here in code, these commands, first of all, these code we have to check on the terminal, and then only we will create the program. Okay, so basically what I will do, I'll open a new terminal. Okay, so let's suppose this is my terminal. Let's go in the with rest one folder, cd rest. Okay, with rest, right? Okay, so here we have py dot manage dot py file. So with this manage dot py file, let's go into the shell. So py manage dot py shell. Okay, so we will enter into the cell. Okay, so right now we are there in the shell. Okay, so in the shell, what I will do, I will try to import the employee class, employee model class. So as you can see here, we have models.py file. Okay, so from this models.py file, from this employee class, we will convert this data into what? JSON, right? So whatever data is there in this fields. So you can see here this we already have one database as well. And in the database, we have some data, existing data, like we have these entries of the data, right? So we will get this data as a JSON data. And right now, this is the complex data. We will convert it into what? JSON, and then JSON to again into the native data. Okay, like we will do the serialization and deserialization both. Okay, So let's try to import the model class, and from the model class, I mean from the models.py, we have to import the employee. So how to write? So from testapp.models import, what is the class name? We already know the class name is, okay, so in this file the class name is employee class. So let's import the employee. So from test app models import employee. Okay, so employee imported successfully. Now import the serialization class, because this serialization class will convert our data into what? Into the we can say into the JSON data. So that is why we are taking it. So from test app dot serialization, make sure you're writing correct spelling. Serializations. What's the name? Serializations. Okay. Then import import. What's the name of the class here? So here the class name is employee serializer. So right here employee serializer. Okay. All right. So it is giving okay. So that code, as of now, I'm commenting this code, whatever code I have written, I'm just commenting it out so that we can import it. Okay. This code is for deserialization. The code I have written here, this is for deserialization. The code I am writing here, that is for serialization. First, I will show you how to do serialization. Then I will show you the back reverse process as well, which is nothing but deserialization. Okay, so now let's try to import it one more time. Okay, so from test step serializations import employee serializer. Okay, so it has imported successfully. Now can I get employee details? For example, in the database, just see here, just have a look once. In the database, we have one ID and 101 employee ID, and the name is Nobita. Can I get this employee detail? So let's try to check it. So how can I check? Can I write here emp dot? Okay, no, I don't write like this. I will create one variable emp, and here what I will do, I will write employee dot objects dot. I will not write all, but I will write get. The id is equals to what? One. So the id of this particular record is one. So that is why I'm writing one. Now if you will write emp dot id, what you are getting? One. Okay, so id is one. E number, what is the e number? 101. So can I write here something like emp dot e number? Okay, yes, so we are getting e number as well. And can I get e name? Emp dot e name. Yes, I'm getting e name, means all the things regarding from first record I can easily get, right? So this is what I am able to access the database model instance from the terminal. But this is not our task basically. Let's do the serialization. Serialization means we have to convert this database record into what? JSON. So how to do the serialization means we will take the help of employee serializer class. So here we have employee serializer class. In this class we will pass our employee object, which is which type? Complex type. Okay, means database instance, we can say. So what I will do, I will write here. Okay, so here I will write employee serializer. Okay, what I'm writing, I'm basically writing this class name. So employee serializer, and here what I will pass, I will pass this emp object. Okay, this emp I am passing, and if you are passing this emp, then it will return what? E serializer. Okay, employee serializer, it will return. Okay, so I'm creating one variable which is e serializer. Okay, so press enter. Okay, so it has converted successfully. Now we have one predefined attribute in eSerializer. So first of all, let's write eSerializer. We have one attribute called data. So if you will write here dot data, you will get the data in the form of dictionary, or we can say, yeah. So what you will get? You will get this data into a dictionary. Okay, so you are getting this data in the form of dictionary, but okay, so for converting into it into the JSON, so we need to import JSON renderer. Okay, and JSON renderer is there in the we can say a renderer package, a renderer module. There is a JSON renderer class which we need to import. So here I will write what I am doing. I am trying to convert this dictionary data into what? JSON data. So for this we need to import one statement. So try to understand, it is not very hard. By the end of the video you will understand all the concepts, right? So have uh, focus here. So first of all, what I will do, I will write here from REST framework, because it is there in the REST framework. That is why I'm writing here. So in the REST framework, REST underscore framework. Okay. And in the REST framework, we have one module which is renderer, renderers import. We have to import here JSON renderer. So right here JSON and renderer. Okay, so if you have fear of spelling mistake, you can type here first. Okay, you can type here first. Okay, so we have this JSON renderer already there, because this VS code here, it gives suggestions. So that is why you can copy command from here. First, you need to write the command here and you can copy instead of directly writing into the terminal. So let me just paste it here. So we have imported JSON renderer. Okay. So in the REST framework, we have renderer module. In the renderer module, we have JSON renderer. Why we are importing it? So that we can convert the dictionary data into what? JSON data. Okay. So how we can convert into the JSON data? So we will write here JSON renderer, which is the class name, which we have imported. And in this class we have one method which is render method, and in the render method you need to pass this eSerializer. Okay, so let's just pass this eSerializer, and this will return eSerializer data. Okay, we have to pass, and it will return you the JSON data. Okay, so let me write here JSON. Okay, JSON data. Okay, I've written here JSON data. Okay, what's the problem? Okay, the spelling mistake here. Okay, never mind. Just fix it. JSON. Okay, so now it is fine. Uh, Now how we can see the data converted into the JSON? Just write this name, JSON capital D data. Okay, so now it is coming into the JSON data. So see what we have done, from the complex data type to we have converted into the JSON data type. But before converting into the JSON, we have converted it already into the dictionary. From dictionary to JSON, we have converted. Now, what we have to do, we have to do the deserialization. Deserialization means this JSON data we will convert into the dictionary. right? And from the dictionary we will convert into the complex, okay, complex data, emp. So how we will do this process, let's see. Okay, so in order to convert this JSON data into the dictionary and then again into the uh, we can say complex data type, okay, uh, into the model instance or query set. So first of all, we need to import this IO module, which I have commented earlier. So let's copy it. I have written here so that there should not be any spelling mistake. Okay, so let's just paste it. This is the wrong. So let's just copy it once again. Okay, let's just copy it. So here just copy and paste. So import IO. So IO we have imported. Now we have to import this JSON parser. Okay, so this JSON parser will convert into we can say it will convert into what, Python data. So let's just copy it first. Now the next step is we will convert this JSON data into what, stream. Okay, so where is the JSON data? Like JSON data, this is the variable name. Okay, so let's just copy this complete line, copy it and paste it here. Okay, but make sure what spelling you are writing of your variable, is it matching with this particular thing or not. So in my case, D is capital and there is no underscore, so I will write accordingly. Okay, so I will delete this underscore, I will write capital D. Okay, so it will convert into what, stream. But okay, I have done some mistake, I have written M here. No issue, so it has converted into the stream. Now from stream to I have to convert it into what, Python data. Okay, so Python data is nothing but dictionary. Python data is nothing but dictionary, because if you are going to the reverse means you need to convert JSON into what, Python native, then Python native to complex data type. So right now we have to convert into what, Python dictionary. So Python data, I'm creating one variable called Python data, and here I will take the help of JSON parser. Okay, so JSON parser, we have already imported this class, and in this class we will use one method which is parse, and here I will write that stream. Okay, so this has converted into Python data. Okay, so P data, so you can see it is again dictionary, right? So how we have converted from JSON data to we have converted Python data. So from JSON to stream to Python data. Now the next step is we have to convert it into what, into what, into complex data, right? So for that we need to do the deserialization. So for deserialization we need to use uh, employee serializer, because this dictionary we have to convert into what, serializer. Okay, so let me write here one note here first. Converting JSON to Python data type. Okay, so for converting JSON to Python data type, what we have to use, we need to import IO modules. Then from REST framework, so it is not. Underscore is there. So how can I get underscore? Okay, just click here and underscore. In the REST framework, we have one parser. Okay, parsers import JSON parser. Okay, so for the node purpose, I am writing here. Okay, like whatever code I have written here, now that same code I am writing here for the node purpose. After that, we need to create one variable called stream, and I have to use io dot bytes io, and we have to write here JSON data. Okay, so in our case, JSON data was like this, right? And then we have to convert this stream into what? Python data. So P data, how we get the P data? We need to use JSON parser. Okay, JSON parser dot parse, and here we have to pass stream, right? Now by deserialization, we have to convert Python data to database supported complex types. Okay, so complex types are what? Complex types are nothing but, we can say, model instance or query set, right? So what we will do here, okay, so let's go here and just use here employee serializer. Okay, so what we will do, we will use the employee serializer here, employee serializer. Okay, so here we will pass one data which is Python data. Okay, and it will return serializer. Right? Okay, so now we will say, is it valid or not? Okay, so we will write here serializer dot is valid. Okay, so this is nothing but this is the predefined words. Is valid is not a user defined, but this is a fixed word. So if it is, there is, okay, it's showing one error, showing attribute employee serializer object has no attribute is valid. Did you mean is underscore valid? Yeah, actually that is what is underscore valid. Sorry, my mistake. So this is underscore valid. So let me just use underscore, but here I have to use. Okay, so now let's see whether it is valid or not. Press enter. So it is valid. Okay, and now let's write here serializer dot validated data, validated underscore data, right? So here we are getting this data, right? Let's try to understand the use case of serialization and deserialization. Okay, so what we have done here basically, by deserialization we have to convert Python data to database supported complex data type. So here what we have done, we have imported here serializer, employee serializer. Okay, and here data is equals to what? Python data, right? Okay, serializer dot is underscore valid. Let's write is underscore valid. Okay, here valid, right? Okay, next we have to write serializer dot serializer dot validated underscore data. Okay, so these are the fixed word we have seen. Okay, so but what we have to do, we have to understand the use case. If you're not able to understand deserialization, we will do other program on deserialization. So don't worry, you will understand the deserialization and serialization, all the process, right? So use case of serialization and deserialization, right? So what is the use case? The first one is partner application wants all employee records in JSON format. What is a partner application here? The partner application is nothing but we can say Python file. One Python file, or we can say one Java file, or one C++ file in the Django project. That is the partner application which is communicating to the Django project, right? So that partner application wants all the employee records in the JSON format. So how we can give? So we will convert query set. Okay, all the records from the database is nothing but query set. So we will convert query set into what? Python native data type. Okay, Python native, when we are converting a query set into Python native data type, it is known as serialization. Okay, so that is known as serialization, right? And then Python native data type 2, we will convert into a dictionary. Okay, Python native data type, sorry, Python native data type is nothing but dictionary itself, and dictionary to JSON is very easy. So we can write here Python native data type 2, we will convert into the JSON data. Okay, so how we can convert into JSON data? So we can use here JSON dot, I mean JSON renderer dot render. With the help of this class, we can convert into JSON data, right? And there is one more thing, which is second use case is we can say partner application sending JSON data to create a new employee. Okay, so this process is nothing but Python, I mean partner application will give what? JSON data. Python, I mean, I'm saying Python, but that is partner application want to insert a new record in the database, but but that record details partner application will send into the JSON format. For example, let me show you here. For example, here we have database. How many entries are there? There are three entries in our database as of now. Okay, but partner application, which is partner application, nothing but test app. This test app, let's suppose this test application, this is a Python application, or we can say third party application. It want to send the JSON data to create a new record in the database. Okay, but database understand which which a particular data type which is complex data type. So what we need to do, we need to convert JSON to complex. Okay, so we will try to write a program which will convert JSON data type to the complex, and it will that will insert the record in the database. Okay, so that is another use case of this. Okay, serialization and deserialization. So what we have to do means JSON data to Python native. Okay, Python native data type. Python native data type is nothing but JSON parser, JSON parser dot parse. Okay. So it will convert JSON to Python native data type, right? And then Python native data type to database supported, right? So Python native data type to database supported complex. Okay, complex form. And that complex form, converting that JSON to the complex data supported form, that is nothing but, this process is nothing but deserialization, right? So deserialization, I hope you are understanding the serialization and the deserialization, right? So we will see how we can inject a new record into the database from the JSON data. Okay, so now let's write the code in the third party application, which is nothing but test tab. Okay, so in the test.py file, what I will do, I will import the request module and JSON module. So import JSON as well as requests. Okay, and let's write the base URL. Base. Okay, so base URL, base underscore URL, and we have to write one more thing, which is endpoint. Okay, so what is the base URL here? So the base URL is http colon forward slash 127, means local host address I'm writing, dot 0 dot 1, and 8000 is a port. Right, now let's write the endpoint. So here I will write endpoint, which is API. Right now I may not have created this. Let me check once. So here in the URLs. Okay, so I haven't created that API endpoint, but we will create it later. As of now, let's write further code here. So like I want to insert the data. Okay, I just want to insert the data into the database. So for that, what I will do, I will create one function, def get resource. Okay, so my function name is get resource. Okay, and this get resource function which I will call. Okay, So there could be a condition like either I can pass here one ID to fetch a specific employee detail, right? Or I want to get all the employees. So means I will not pass any data for all. So here I will create one optional ID. Okay, so if you want to create it optional, not required, so you need to write here like default value as well, right? So here let's write the code. So we will write data as what empty dictionary. When it is empty dictionary, if ID is not none. Okay, if ID is not none means okay, if ID is not none means we are not sending any data. Like if you are sending data, so means the condition is false because ID is not none. Okay, so ID is what? One. ID is what? One. So ID is not none. That is true. ID is not none. So that is true. Then this time this code will run. Which code will run? This one. Whatever I will write here, it will it will be execute. Data is equals to, I will write ID is equals to ID. Okay, so but this ID, okay, not equals to, but I will write as a key value pair. So this ID will be key and this ID will be value. Okay, so if ID is something like 1 or 2 or 3, so that means this code will execute. Otherwise, what will happen? If ID is not, if ID is none means data will be empty. And if this is the empty data, then what we have to do? We have to send the request. Okay, because we have request module, so we will send the request, get request. So here we will write the base URL plus endpoint, and after that we have to pass the data. Okay, but whatever data we are passing, so that should be the, okay, if it is JSON data, then we have to convert it into a dictionary data, right? So in order to convert that data into the dictionary, we need to use here JSON dot dumps. Okay, so we are converting data into what? Dictionary using the dumps method. Okay, so if the request is going to the server, server will give you what? Response back. So response will come. Okay, so whenever the response will come from the server, it will bring one status code. So let's print the status code as well. So print response dot status underscore code, and we have to write here print response dot JSON. So when you are passing ID, then this code will execute. Otherwise, this code will execute. Okay, so now let's create the view now. Okay, so before creating the view, let me tell you what we are basically doing. We are working on this first use case, which is nothing but partner application wants all employee records in JSON format. Okay, right now the records are stored in the complex format, which is nothing but data type, database supported format. But our partner application, which is nothing but test.py, wants to get all the employee records in which format? JSON format. Okay, so what we will do, query set we will convert into Python native, which is serialization. Then Python native 2 will convert into what? JSON data, and that JSON data will give to the partner application. right? So this is our agenda. So let's create the class based view for the same. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do, we'll create one class, and the class name is employee hmm, current CPV, right? And here I will write the view class. Okay, and how we'll get this view class? So this view class we can get from the generic, and generic we can get into the views module. So from Django dot views, import what? Generic, and from the generic we have to import view class, right? So after that, what we have to do, we have to create one function which is def get for getting the employee details, right? Database, whatever data is stored into the database, we are reading all the data. So that's why we are creating here get method, and first argument will be the self, and the second is the request, and the third one is optional argument which is args, and there is one more keyword argument args. So these two arguments are optional. Okay, so here what I will do, I will take data from the body. Okay, so request dot body, right? So which data I will get? I will get JSON data, JSON underscore data, right? And this JSON data, what I will do, I will convert this JSON data into what? Python data. But before converting into the Python data, we need to convert into the stream. And how we can convert it into the stream, we have already discussed about it, right? So in order to convert it into the stream, we need to use IO, because in the IO module we have bytes IO, right? So we will use the bytes IO. Okay, so let's import the IO from, okay, not from, but import IO. Okay, and here we will write a stream which will come from IO dot bytes IO, and in the bytes IO I will write JSON data, right? So I will get the stream, and then stream I can convert into what? Python data. And how we can convert that into the Python data? We need to use JSON parser, right? So JSON parser, how we can get this JSON parser? It is inside the REST framework parsers, and you can use the parsers, JSON parser. So let's write here from REST framework dot parsers import JSON parser, right? So we have imported it. Now we have to write here like Python data we will get now from where? From JSON parser, right? And here we will write parse, and what we have to parse? String, right? And now we have to check whether the ID we are getting, what we are doing, we are checking whether Python data, okay, so Python data ID is there or not. Okay, so for example, if you will see here in the test tab, so we have this data. Okay, so data is coming with ID, but it may not come with ID, right? Because it's totally depend based on like how we are calling it, how we are calling this get resource. If you're calling by passing the value means uh, it will, this data will come with ID, otherwise this data will come empty. Okay, empty means all the records, so one record or all the records, right? So this is what we have to understand, right? So if ID is 1 or 2, so we will return the specific data. Otherwise, if ID is not mentioned, then we will return none. Okay, and this will be stored in the ID. Okay, so ID if none, we will return the query set, And if ID is mentioned, then we will return the model instance, means particular record. Okay, so here we will write if ID is not none. If ID is not none, then what we have to do? We have to get the one employee. Okay. Okay, so how can I get the one record? So we have to fetch from the employee class. Uh, but first of all, we need to import the employee class. Like we have already imported somewhere. Okay, where we have imported it. Okay, so like that we have to import which employee class, because from the employee model class all the data is stored. So we need to write one import statement here. So from test app dot models import employee. Okay, and from employee, if ID is not none, then we will fetch data from the employee, right? So how can we fetch? By writing here employee dot objects dot get. Okay, and here we will mention ID is what? ID. On that particular ID employees record we want, and store it into what? EMP. Store it into what? EMP variable, right? Now what we have to do, this EMP variable is what? Complex type. We have to convert it into like JSON data. So how we'll convert it to JSON data? So for converting it into the JSON data, we have already seen this. Okay, okay, let me tell you if it is not there. Let me tell you how we can convert it. We will write here employee serializer. Okay, so employee serializer. Okay, but it is not able to recognize because this employee serializer will convert into what? E-serializer. Then E-serializer we will convert into JSON data. Okay, and that JSON data will give to the Python, I mean, third-party application. But the employee serializer we have to import from the serializer, because in the serializer we have employee serializer. If you can see here, we have employee serializer. So we have to write here from where? From test app dot serializers serializations. Okay, serialization import serializers, not serializers but employee serializer. Okay, so now this employee serializer came, so it will return e-serializer. E-serializer means employee serializer. Okay, so that employee serializer we will convert it into what? JSON data. But in order to convert into JSON data, we need a JSON renderer class, and which you can get from test, not from the test app. You can find it into the REST framework. So from REST framework dot renderer import JSON renderer. Okay, so JSON renderer is the class which we required. Okay, so here we will write JSON renderer dot render, and here we have to write. Okay, so this is, we have to write like this, and here we have to pass e-serializer, and with fixed value. Fixed value is what? Data. Okay, and it will return what? JSON data. Okay, so we will get the JSON data like that. Right? And if we are getting the JSON data, we have to return the HTTP response. But for returning the HTTP response, we need to import HTTP response. Okay, so from Django.http import HTTP response. Okay, so now we have to return HTTP response. Return HTTP response. How we can return? We will write the JSON data. JSON data we will return, and content type will be content underscore type is what? Application JSON. Application forward slash JSON. Okay. And if everything goes correct, the status code will be 200. 200 is what? Success code. Okay. So this is when this code will execute when the employee ID is not none. Let's suppose if employee ID is none, then this code will not execute. Then which code will execute? Then we have to fetch all the records. So for getting all the records, we have to write something like employee dot objects dot all. Okay, so all function will get all the records, and we will store into what? One variable called query set. Okay, QS. After that, again we have to convert it into what? JSON. But before converting it into JSON, we need to do what? We need to convert it. We need to use eSerialization class. Okay, so like in if condition we have used eSerialization class, so similarly here we will also use. Okay, and but here we will write QS because this is a query set, and we will write here many equals to what? True. Okay, because now it will bring multiple records. To convert it into the JSON, this eSerialization to JSON, we need to use this JSON renderer. Okay, after that we have to return the HTTP response. Okay, now the final thing is we have to create one endpoint. Okay, so you just have a look with this code so that you can understand it easily. Okay, or let me just copy the test.py file code, copy it, and let me just paste it here. Test.py. Here we have to paste the code of the test.py file. Now let me just write here views.py file code, and the views.py file code is here. We have this views.py file code. Okay, so here we have views.py file code, but here we have one endpoint which is API. So let's just create this API endpoint, right, which will call this view, right? Okay, let's go into what urls.py, and here just write path, and also write one endpoint which is API, and also import views. So from test tab dot views. Okay, so from the test tab import views, that is correct. Okay, so here I will write views dot employee current CVV. Okay, dot as underscore view. So whenever we are writing class based view, so we need to write as underscore view as well, right? Okay, so let me just write here also. Okay, let me just write this complete thing. urls.py. Okay, so that is our urls.py file. Let's just run the server now. So we will run the server on different terminals. So cd with REST API 1, and let's start the server by writing py manage.py run server. Okay, server is running successfully. Now go to the second terminal and just exit from here. Okay, just clear it. Now we will execute this application, which is test app, and in the test app we are calling this resource, and we want to get means this partner application, which is nothing but test app test.py, which will which want to get first employee record, and it will print the response here. If it is printing the response using the print function, means the response will print on the terminal itself. So let me write here test py tests tests.py. Okay, so what it is saying, no such file. Okay, so let me write ls. So yeah, there is no such file. So we have created it into a test app. I think we need to write, we have to create it outside the test app. So let's keep it here. Outside the test app means the place of at the place which manage.py is there, at the same location test.py must be there. So now if you will write ls, you can see the tests.py. So now clear py test, not test app. We have to write tests.py. Okay, giving them errors. So what's the error here? Okay, there are some errors. Let's rectify it. Self request args kw args, that is fine. Body, okay. Okay, so here we have written. Okay, so here the ID should be the key, and which is in single quote. Okay, that is fine. Let's try to execute it now. Still error is coming. Okay, so it is showing this. So from the test tab, let's write here /, and now let's try to execute it. Mm, mm, mm. Now what it is saying at line number 17. Okay, JSON, but what JSON? Okay, so the problem may be in the models, not models, but admins.py, because here we are listing out like these all the fields, but in our database actually, let's open the database. So in our database, one more extra field which is ID, e number, e name, e cell, e address already there in admin, but ID is not there. So let's write ID as well, right? Okay. So now let's try to execute it. In the same issue. Right here, three, and make migrations. Migration applied by manage.py run server executing CLS, but it is not coming. Let me write here zero data. Again, trace JSON report. Okay. Okay, so let me just copy this, whether it's written correctly or not. Let's just paste it. Okay, so it's coming. Let's go to the endpoint, which is API. Okay, so type error at API. View dot is one position argument but two arguments. So what's the issue at API? So let's just check the URL. So here we have URLs. Okay, API is good. Okay, views is correct. Okay. Okay, so here we forgot to mention the parenthesis. Okay, so let's mention the parenthesis. Okay, all good. And in the test step, we are not passing any ID, means ID will be none. Okay, if ID is none means empty data. ID is not none means that particular specific ID. Okay, so let's check whether it's bringing the JSON response or not. Our partner application communicating to the database in order to get the employee records in the JSON format. So let's run it. Okay, so see, 200 is a success code we are getting, and we are getting all the employee records from the database. Okay, so who is getting, like, this partner application is communicating to the database, and this data is coming in JSON format. Okay, let's suppose I'm giving the ID 1, and one ID has given to this particular Nobita, and let's check whether this record can be fetched or not. Okay, so now the Nobita record is coming, right? So if we will change the ID, and accordingly it will react. Second, run the application. So it is showing another employee detail. Okay, so like that we are getting the data. Okay, so and where is, okay, all are correct. So we have seen one use case which is partner application wants to all employee records in JSON format. So we have completed this use case successfully. Okay, Python native data type to the JSON data type. Okay, now the second use case is partner application sending JSON response, JSON data to create a new employee record. Okay, so this use case we will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, next class we will discuss about it. Means we will send the JSON data from this test step. We will send the JSON data and new employee record will be inserted into this database. Okay, so this is another use case which means creating a new recording using the like using the post, right? So we'll discuss in detail in the next lecture. Okay, so thank you guys for giving your valuable time.